Imagine having millions in your bank account, shiny sports cars in your garage, and the ability to buy a mansion anywhere in the world, but choosing not to. These celebrities have it all: fame, fortune, and power. However, they have opted for a surprisingly simple life. Why would someone with access to any luxury choose to live with the bare minimum? Is it a lesson in humility, a financial strategy, or simply a different view of happiness? Today, I will reveal 15 shocking stories of millionaire celebrities who decided to turn their backs on excess and embrace simplicity. Fair warning, the number one spot will leave you speechless. Get ready. This list will completely change your perspective on money and success. Tobey Maguire. The first Spider-Man to conquer the big screen not only left his mark on Hollywood, but also in the hearts of millions of fans. But outside the red and blue suit, his life is much more low-key than you might imagine. Born into a low-income family, Tobey grew up with his single mother, who struggled daily to make ends meet. From a young age, he learned a valuable lesson. Money should not be wasted, but invested wisely. Despite earning millions from the Spider-Man trilogy, Tobey has chosen a simple lifestyle. He prefers to invest his fortune in real estate rather than in unnecessary luxuries. One of his best-known cars is a humble Toyota Prius, which he has driven for years without worrying about the expectations of fame. He is rarely seen at extravagant parties or flashy red carpets. Tobey prefers the tranquility of home, spending time with his family, and enjoying a life free from unnecessary pressure. Julia Roberts. The eternal star of Pretty Woman could have chosen a life full of luxuries, exclusive events, and eccentricities. But this talented actress decided to follow a very different path, the path of simplicity. Born into a humble family in Georgia, Julia was raised with the values of humility and hard work. Her success in Hollywood wasn't enough to make her forget her roots. Despite being one of the highest-paid actresses in the industry, Julia decided to step away from the spotlight and settle on a ranch in New Mexico. There, she grows her own vegetables, cares for animals, and enjoys the serenity that only nature can offer. You won't see her collecting sports cars or shiny jewelry. Julia prefers to invest her time and money in moments with her family. She has been seen walking barefoot around her property, without makeup, simply enjoying the peace her home brings her. In an interview, Julia reflected on her lifestyle. "Money can buy many things, but it cannot buy the peace of mind I find here at home." Matthew McConaughey, Oscar winner and star of countless films. Matthew McConaughey could be living in a mansion in Beverly Hills, surrounded by luxury and comfort. But instead he chose something far more unusual: a motorhome. Born and raised in Texas, Matthew grew up in an environment where family, hard work, and simplicity were core values, and those principles never left him, not even when he reached the heights of Hollywood. For several years, Matthew made a motorhome his home, a custom-built residence with a small kitchen, a comfy bed, and enough space to reflect and write. For him, it wasn't just a home, it was a symbol of freedom. In an interview, he explained it clearly. "In my motorhome, I had everything I needed: freedom, simplicity, and peace." Even after settling into a regular house, Matthew hasn't lost his love for the simple life. He prefers to travel light, eat at local stalls, and stay away from the chaos of luxury hotels. Elijah Wood. The unforgettable Frodo Baggins from The Lord of the Rings didn't just conquer the big screen, but also won the hearts of millions around the world. But far from the spotlight and red carpets, Elijah leads a life few would expect from a Hollywood star. Born in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Elijah began his career at a very young age. Despite having accumulated a fortune thanks to the successful trilogy, he never got caught up in the glamour. After fame, Elijah decided to move to Austin, Texas, where he lives in a modest vintage-style home, far from the lavish mansions of other celebrities. You won't see him driving sports cars or wearing designer suits. Instead, he prefers second-hand clothing and affordable cars. But there's more. He is a passionate vinyl collector and spends his time and money in small record shops rather than exclusive boutiques. Elijah made his lifestyle clear. Money shouldn't change who you are. At the end of the day, it's about what you do with what you have. Sarah Jessica Parker. When you think of Sex and the City, you probably imagine glamour, designer shoes, and endless parties. But Sarah Jessica Parker, the iconic Carrie Bradshaw, is the exact opposite off-screen. Born into a humble family with 7 siblings, Sarah grew up watching her parents struggle to make ends meet. Those values stayed with her forever. Despite earning millions from each season of the show, Sarah has always kept her feet on the ground. It's not unusual to see her shopping at thrift stores, reusing clothes from years ago, or taking advantage of supermarket discounts. Even when it comes to her children, Sarah prefers buying their clothes on sale and makes sure not to spend more than necessary. But her humility goes beyond that. Sarah Jessica Parker reminds us of something essential. True luxury isn't what you buy, but how you value what you already have. Steve Jobs. The genius behind Apple revolutionized the world with devices that transformed how we communicate, work, and live. But ironically, the man who created products coveted by millions chose to live a minimalist and austere life. Born in San Francisco and adopted by a working-class family, Steve showed from a young age a restless mind, an overflowing passion for technology, and a rebellious personality. Despite building a multi-billion-dollar fortune, he never let money define his lifestyle. His daily outfit became a symbol of his philosophy: a black turtleneck sweater, Levi's jeans, and New Balance sneakers. But behind that choice was more than comfort. It was a strategy to reduce daily decisions and focus on what really mattered. His house in Palo Alto reflected his essence. A modest structure, decorated in an extremely minimalist style, almost empty, with only essential furniture. It's said that Steve would spend hours in his clear, empty living room, meditating or thinking about his next projects. In one of his last interviews, Steve shared a profound thought. In the end, money doesn't matter. What matters most is the impact you leave on the world. Zooey Deschanel. The charming star of New Girl has captivated the world with her unique style and charismatic personality. But off-camera, her life is much simpler than anyone might imagine. From a young age, Zooey learned to value experiences over material possessions. She grew up in a household where money didn't define happiness. Despite being a Hollywood star, Zooey lives on a weekly budget, something almost unthinkable in the entertainment industry. Instead of sports cars or luxury jewelry, she prefers a small electric vehicle. But her greatest treasure isn't something you can show off on a red carpet: her personal library. Zooey has invested a large part of her fortune in rare books, unique pieces that mean far more to her than any designer item. Furthermore, her commitment to the planet and education is undeniable. She donates a significant portion of her income to causes she truly cares about. Zooey Deschanel teaches us that real wealth isn't about what you own, but about how you choose to invest your time, money, and heart. Lady Gaga, a global superstar, fashion icon, and voice of a generation. On stage, she dazzles with extravagant outfits and unforgettable performances, but off stage, her life is surprisingly simple. Born as Stefani Joanne Angelina Germanata into a working-class New York family, Gaga never forgot her roots. Despite her fame and fortune, she keeps her feet firmly on the ground. Away from the spotlight, Lady Gaga is nothing like the diva many imagine. On more than one occasion, she's confessed that despite her millions, she finds it hard to spend money on unnecessary things. She prefers to invest in her family, her music, and social causes that truly make a difference. Kristen Bell. The voice behind Anna in Frozen and the unforgettable Eleanor in The Good Place shines not only on screen but in real life, with an inspiring humility. Born into a working-class family in Michigan, Kristen learned early the value of hard work and money. Even though Hollywood brought her fame and wealth, she never lost her essence. Kristen is known for her love of discount coupons. Yes, coupons. She has openly admitted enjoying the thrill of finding deals and saving money, even though she could afford anything without thinking twice. Her wedding to actor Dax Shepard is another example of her simplicity. The couple spent just $142 on the entire ceremony, proving that true love doesn't need luxury. In her free time, Kristen enjoys life's simple pleasures, tending her garden, cooking for her family, and avoiding unnecessary expenses. Leonardo DiCaprio, a Hollywood icon, Oscar winner, and the star of films that defined an era. But beyond the screen, Leo is a tireless advocate for the planet and an example of conscious living. Born in a humble Los Angeles neighborhood, Leonardo grew up understanding the value of resources and the importance of taking care of the environment. That awareness has stayed with him throughout his successful career. Despite his enormous fortune, Leonardo leads a surprisingly modest lifestyle. He drives an electric car and avoids private flights whenever he can to reduce his carbon footprint. But his commitment goes even further. Through his environmental foundation, he has donated millions of dollars to save forests, protect oceans, and preserve endangered species. Leonardo DiCaprio leaves us with a powerful lesson. Our greatest legacy is not what we accumulate, but what we leave for future generations. Shailene Woodley. The star of films like Divergent and The Fault in Our Stars has captivated audiences not only with her talent, but also with her extraordinary lifestyle. Modest, conscious, and deeply connected to nature. Born in San Bernardino, California, Shailene was raised with strong values. Her parents, both educators, taught her from a young age to respect the planet and to live sustainably. Unlike many celebrities, Shailene has chosen a very different path. She lives far from the noise of big cities, in a small, sustainable home. Her day-to-day is full of simple but meaningful rituals. She makes her own toothpaste, collects drinking water from natural springs, and prepares homemade remedies from herbs grown in her garden. During the filming of Divergent, Shailene surprised many by refusing to stay in luxury suites, instead sharing a room with other production team members to reduce unnecessary expenses. But her commitment doesn't end there. Shailene is a passionate environmental activist. She has joined protests, raised her voice against projects that threaten ecosystems, and donated millions of dollars to organizations dedicated to planet conservation. Keanu Reeves. When you think of an action hero, you probably imagine luxury cars, exclusive parties, and a life full of eccentricities. But Keanu Reeves, one of the most beloved and respected actors in Hollywood, completely breaks that stereotype. Born in Beirut, Lebanon, and raised in Canada, Keanu had a childhood marked by hardship. He lost his father at an early age, suffered the tragic death of his best friend River Phoenix, and later endured the loss of his daughter and his partner. These experiences shaped his character and his worldview. Despite amassing a fortune estimated at over $380 million, Keanu has opted for a surprisingly modest life. He lives in a simple apartment in Los Angeles and is often seen riding public transport, offering his seat with a smile to those in need. During the filming of The Matrix Reloaded, Keanu made an extraordinary decision. He donated 70% of his earnings to children's hospitals to support cancer research. His generosity didn't stop there. He also gifted personalized Harley-Davidson motorcycles to all members of the stunt team as a thank you for their work. In an interview, Keanu expressed his life philosophy with complete clarity. "Money means nothing to me. I've made a lot, but what matters is enjoying life and helping others whenever I can." Keanu Reeves is living proof that true greatness isn't measured by wealth or fame, but by generosity, kindness, and humanity. Ed Sheeran. The talented British musician behind hits that have marked a generation could live a life full of luxury, sports cars, and endless parties. But surprisingly, this global icon prefers simplicity and peace above all. Born in Halifax, United Kingdom, Ed grew up in a working-class family. His beginnings in music weren't easy. He played on the streets, slept on strangers' sofas, and dreamed of one day being heard. Today, with sold-out world tours and record-breaking hits, Ed remains one of the most humble celebrities in the industry. Instead of a lavish mansion, he bought a modest house near his hometown where he grows his own vegetables and enjoys peaceful moments. Ed doesn't spend money on luxury cars or designer clothes. He prefers books, art, and real experiences. It's not uncommon to see him reusing the same black t-shirt at major events. Even on tour, Ed avoids five-star hotels. He often chooses to stay with friends or in modest accommodations. Jennifer Lawrence. One of the most successful and highest-paid actresses in Hollywood, Jennifer Lawrence could live surrounded by luxury, exotic cars, and designer dresses. But this Oscar-winning actress has proven time and again that money hasn't changed who she is. Born in Louisville, Kentucky, Jennifer was raised in a middle-class family. Her parents owned a farm, and from a young age she learned the value of hard work, simplicity, and respect for every dollar earned. Since the beginning of her Hollywood career, Jennifer has maintained her authenticity and down-to-earth attitude, becoming one of the most beloved celebrities not only for her talent, but also for her genuine personality. Despite earning millions from the Hunger Games saga and films like Silver Linings Playbook, Jennifer remains surprisingly modest. She's often seen shopping with discount coupons, driving a Chevrolet Volt, a modest hybrid car, and refusing to stay in luxury hotels during promo tours. Mark Zuckerberg. The creator of Facebook and one of the youngest billionaires in history has access to a fortune that could buy virtually anything. But surprisingly, his lifestyle is much more austere than one might expect. Since his days as a student at Harvard, Mark has shown a practical and direct approach to his goals. As his company grew into one of the most influential platforms on the planet, he never allowed money to change him. One of the most well-known details of his life is his minimalist wardrobe, consisting almost exclusively of gray t-shirts and jeans. Mark has explained that this decision helps him avoid wasting time and energy on trivial matters, freeing his mind for more important decisions. His home, while comfortable, is far from extravagant. Mark prefers to invest his fortune in causes that truly matter. Through the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, he has donated billions of dollars to medical research, education, and global welfare. These stories have shown us that true greatness isn't always measured in luxury cars or golden mansions. Sometimes the smallest actions and simplest lifestyles leave the deepest marks. Which of these stories surprised you the most? Do you think you could live a similar lifestyle if you had millions in the bank? Tell us in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on the bell for more content like this. See you in the next video.